How the kangaroo got a long tail and the wombat a flat forehead. Many years ago, Miram the kangaroo and Maureen the wombat were both men. They were friendly and hunted and lived together in the same camping ground. Maureen had a very comfortable gunya made of bark and soft leaves, but Miram, who was a careless fellow, did not trouble to build a home. He was content to sleep in the open by the side of a big fire with the blue sky for a cover and the green grass for a couch. This open-air life is very nice in fine weather, when the stars twinkled in the sky like golden fireflies, but it was extremely uncomfortable in the rainy season. One night a great storm arose. The wind howled eerily and rocked the tall trees to and fro as though they were shaken by the strong arms of an invisible giant. The rain fell in torrents, and darkness covered the light of the stars. The rain quickly quenched the glowing embers of Miram's fire, and he was left at the mercy of the storm. After shivering in the cold for some time, he decided to seek the hospitality of Maureen. Surely my friend would not refuse me shelter on such a night as this, he thought. I will ask him. Feeling very cold and miserable, he crept to the opening of Maureen's tent, and seeing there was sufficient space for both of them to sleep comfortably, he woke him and said, "The storm has killed my fire. I am very wet and the cold wind has chilled me to the bone. May I sleep in the corner of your tent?" Maureen blinked his eyes sleepily and answered in a gruff voice, "No, I want to place my head in that corner. There isn't any room." With this rude remark, he moved into the corner, but as he could not occupy the whole space of the tent, another corner became vacant. Miram went away and sat by the wet ashes of his fire, and his thoughts were as miserable as the weather. The fury of the storm increased, and looking anxiously at the rainproof gunya of his friend, he decided to approach Maureen again. He entered the shelter and, touching Maureen gently on the shoulder, said, "The wind is very cold, and as biting as the teeth of the wild dog. The rain is falling heavily and will not cease. I should be grateful if you would allow me to sleep in that corner. I will not disturb you." Maureen raised his head, listened to the moaning of the storm outside, and then replied, "I will not have you here. There isn't any room. Go outside and do not keep waking me." "But," replied Miram, "there is room in that corner. Surely you wouldn't drive me out into the storm to die." Thereupon, Maureen moved one leg into the corner, and again the space became vacant. Seeing he could no longer hoodwink Miram and hide from his own selfish intentions, he grew very angry and yelled, "Get out! Get out! I won't have you in my tent. I don't care where you die." This harsh treatment exasperated Miram, and he left the tent in a terrible rage. Outside the tent, he groped around in the dark until he found a large flat stone. Then he crept silently to the gunya. By the sound of heavy breathing, he knew Maureen was asleep. Moving very silently, he entered the tent, and raising the stone high in his arms, dashed it on the head of the sleeper. The terrible blow did not kill Maureen, but flattened his forehead. When he had recovered from his pained surprise, he heard the mocking voice of Miram saying, "That is your reward for treating a friend so cruelly. You and your children and their children's children will wander through the land with flat foreheads that men may know them for your selfishness." As Maureen was no match for his opponent, he did not answer, but nursed his sore head and some very bad thoughts. From that moment, he was always planning revenge for his injury. Some time later, Maureen was hunting in the forest, and through the shadow of the trees, he saw Miram a short distance ahead. He crept noiselessly towards him, and when Miram was looking for the marks of a possum on the bark of a tree, he threw a spear at him with all his strength. The spear struck Miram at the bottom of the back, and so deeply did it enter that he could not pull it out. While he was struggling with the spear, Maureen walked up to him and in a bantering voice said, "Aha! My turn has come at last. I have waited long to repay you. You will always carry the spear in your back and wander without a home while you live. Your children will carry the spear and be homeless forever. By these tokens, men will always remember your attempt to kill me while I slept." From that time, the kangaroo has had a long tail, which makes a low thudding sound as he wanders homeless through the bush, and the wombat still has a very flat forehead as an everlasting sign of his selfishness.